How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Excited
Good,
to
good.
talk with you.
You want me to turn it up?
Couldn't hear what you said.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah, we turned it up a little bit.
Awesome. There we go, man. Excited to be on with you. And I suppose you're wondering kind of what this is, right?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, hey, have you had an opportunity when I've gotten to come and speak at the family breakfast and stuff like that? Have you have an opportunity? So I say, have you had the opportunity to come here and we speak? Sometimes I should say, have you had the misfortune of having heard me speak? It depends on what morning it was. But that's great, man. So one of the things I've talked to Gus and the leadership about this for a long time, and one of the things I really wrestle with and I struggle with when I get to go and speak to companies is I don't ever get a chance to really learn from the people I get to speak to. And every time I get to speak to a company, there's always someone there that asks a question or represents a quality that I just want to sit around and learn from right now. So I asked Gus, and I'm not saying this because I'm nice, because I'm really not that nice, but I've done this for almost a decade. And I would say the Milestone Collective, Milestone families are in the top 5 as far as meaning what they say about culture and family and what I call tribalism, right? And so one of the things I'm doing this with maybe only 2 other companies, because there's 2 other companies where I know anytime I get a chance to interact with someone, I'm going to learn something. And so one of the things I talked to Gus about was this concept called Chalk Talk, where it's where I get to come back and really just learn from the people I had an opportunity to visit with about more of the content that I've spoken on. And so one of the things I asked him, I said, hey, would you begin to canvas the leadership in your company for teammates that embody a particular pursuit point? If you remember what the pursuit points were balance, curiosity, tribalism, intentionalism, and authenticity. Mm-hmm. And balance was having high ground for hard days. Faith and family and friends and people and places and programs remind you who you are, what you're about, and why you started doing the hard stuff. And curiosity was kind of always wanting to find that 1%, having this, being a knowledge carnivore, having this courage to ask questions, right? Tribalism is knowing that we need something more than ourselves, do something bigger than ourselves. Intentionalism is always knowing why we're doing what we're doing. And always having that cardinal north that allows us to deal with the what's, the one more is the adversities, right? And then authenticity was preaching from our pain and sharing our scars. And really, I wanted to visit with you. You've been nominated. You've been described as someone who just really embodies this quality that I call intentionalism. And if you really remember what I said about intentionalism is there were 260 guys that started Hell Week, and only 30 something of us made it through. And the 30 of us that made it through were people who never got why we started in the first place. And so, man, you've been acknowledged and celebrated and kind of nominated as someone who's like, hey, Clint, if you want to learn more about one of our teammates who just represents intentionalism, it's you. So that's why you're here. So it's
Thank you.
You're not getting waterboarded. You're not getting anything. It's just ask for an opportunity to learn more about how you're known as such an intentional member of the Milestone tribe. So I know you're busy. Listen, I'm one of these families that probably calls y'all once every 4 to 6 weeks with a plumbing issue at my house.
I've been out there.
Yeah, I know you have, and so I'm sorry. I just it just is what it is, man. But I wanted to just ask you a few quick questions about this this thing called intentionalism that you're just seen as someone who embodies that. So really, the first one is when we talk about the concept of intentionalism, we talk about always kind of starting something, knowing why you're starting it. Where did you see that? When do you recognize that as a part of your kind of gifts and abilities? Or is this something you're like, man, I didn't know I was good at this? And then the second part of that question is, if you've known that's part of this toolbox that you use to be a pro, who have you seen in your life to kind of live it out for you?
Awesome. Well, intentionalism, I mean, I like how, I like goals. I like having set goals for myself. So once I've set a goal, I'm really hard-headed, want to get there, do whatever it takes to get there. See it a lot in work, see it a lot with, the home as well, family. So it's just setting goals and not just something about getting to that point, and always have that vision in mind of where you want to be, what you want to do, how you want to get there.
Awesome.
And just
Were you taught that, or were you exposed to it, or did you just kind of decide at some point in your life that this is a really important quality to have?
Well, definitely family. I think, seeing my parents work so hard to get us to, always trying to become better. Also, setting goals, something I was always taught, set a waypoint, get there, no matter what you got to do, get there. Just seeing them grow and really helped me, I believe, as, an adult, to make those decisions, to try to get further.
That's amazing. It's actually one of the things when y'all come out to our house, and when I send y'all to other people's houses, I always tell the parents, hey, you're going to have an opportunity to point out some qualities that you really want in your family when they come out to your house. And one of the things I've always appreciated about any Milestone collective that comes out to our house is it's very deliberate, it's very intentional, and it's very methodical, but it's not rude, it's not dismissive. Y'all found this really amazing way to be super thorough and super intentional and kind of always productive and taking ground, but you're still courteous and you're friendly. And I watch this with my daughters, like y'all come over and I watch my daughters ask y'all questions and you're getting your job done but you're also educating them. And in that power of modeling is something that clearly kind of blessed you, it sounds like, when you were growing up.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there a particular moment when you look back at your mom or your dad, your brothers or your sisters, where you just kind of heard them declare, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and watch them just consistently and methodically head towards that? That's a really hard question to answer because there's probably so many of those. But if there's one that you remember in your formative years, it's like, that's what intentionalism looked like.
Gosh, just something as small as one of the things that sticks out in my head is just, growing up, for example, we've always lived in an apartment as children, One of the goals my parents always set was, we can't wait till we own our own home. So just seeing them, go through that entire process really just kind of showed me that, it is possible. You just got to be dedicated. You got to, have that goal, that intentionalism to get there, to,
Yeah, I just got goosebumps as you were saying that. I think that's such a powerful shift, right? And the other thing, when we talk about intentionalism, we talk about one of the reasons we want to know why we're doing what we're doing is because we know there's going to be a lot of what's along the way. And the what's will take you down. The what's are heel grabbers and ankle biters. And the whys keep you above all that. So even something, it's interesting to me that you said something so small. But what you were saying, I think, is not that was small. It was just a million small little things that allowed you and your family to do something big. That's exactly it. That's a really powerful example. When did you begin to see that quality of intentionalism and kind of starting out knowing why you're starting something in the first place? Professionally, when did you begin to see that was going to make a difference for you and that was going to really positively impact whatever it is you decided to do?
Yeah, I think it was really once I started here at Milestone, it really showed me all the opportunities there is to grow, So I kind of started here as an apprentice, knew that my goal was to become a technician, and now it's, other set goals, I've got a goal in mind. I want to get there. I'm going to find a way to get there.
That's interesting. I love that you said that. That's one of the things when I coach people, when I work with people, and you just see this kind of passion, this kind of gear that they have that maybe they didn't. Sometimes it's like always playing this one sport and being pretty good at it, and then discovering this other sport and realizing this is a sport you were kind of built for, right? I'm kind of experiencing that peripherally with my daughter. Like when I was growing up here, there was no hockey. Like the Stars were still up in Minnesota, and my youngest daughter's playing hockey now. And I sit there and I watch that game. I'm like, oh man, I would love that game, right? Because when it's cold, which I appreciate that because I'm a bigger guy. But that's awesome. So one of the things we talk about when we talk about intentionalism is very deliberate ways to remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing. And the story I use when I talk about that is when you're going through Hell Week's really hard, and Hell Week's meant to break you. And it's not about being unbroken. It's about, like my favorite word is indomitable. It's not unbreakable. It's not unbeaten because we're all broken and sometimes we get beat. But indomitable means you're always going to rise. And part of rising is having that thing you grab and pull yourself up on. what are some of the things that remind you, 'cause especially this season with what, you know, your industry has gone through with the freeze and all this other stuff, like, are there 2 or 3 just intangible things that you just tell yourself that are really practical? They're like, hey, you know this, and this is why I do this. What are 2 or 3 things that you do to tell yourself how to remind yourself how to rise again, and both at home and at work, and in other things that are important to you? Is there like a mantra or a hack that you use?
Well, a lot of it is just helping people. You know, that's when I'm at work, it's all about helping people. They've got a problem. Uh, I take it upon myself to, you know, I'm not only am I fixing their issue, you know, but a lot of times they're in panic mode or
Yeah.
whatever. I've got to be the level head that comes in, even though it's unfortunate, you know, that there's something going on. We got to help them get through that, and that just the helping somebody else, you know, make their day better despite what they're going through.
I mean, you're kind of a form of rescue in a lot of ways. I mean, you know, there's another company that I love being around, that reminds me a lot of y'all. And one of the things they say is restoring the rhythm of someone's life, right? And and that's kind of what y'all do, is y'all restore the rhythm of someone's life in this place where it's supposed to be easiest, safest, and best, right? Is there a moment in the last maybe 6 months where you just had to put your words to work, and you just like, sometimes it's harder than others, right? And you just had to go, okay, this is why I'm doing this. Like, this is and I gotta imagine it might have been back in February and March, kind of right around that freeze, man. I think y'all were about as busy as you've ever been.
Oh, yes.
And, is that a moment where you really had to remember why you're doing something in the first place?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was hard. I mean, it was long hours, you know, multiple days of just straight working. But, you know, you got to remind yourself, you know, I'm here to help. This is what I do. Help people, fix problems, you know, the whole thing. Yeah.
There's a part of me, because I was just pushing so many people over to y'all. There's a part of me is like, I felt really good doing it. And then another part of it is like, oh man, I think they're gonna hate me too, because it's like, you gotta sleep and you gotta eat at some point in time, right? And then the freeze was really interesting because there was 2 challenges. One, getting there, because it's not like the roads were awesome. So like one, you're in like the cannonball run, just trying to get to the place, and then you're trying to calculate when you're gonna hit your brakes so you can actually slide to a stop in front of the house, right? And then there's the work and barely in almost sub-zero temperatures, right? That's awesome. So last question really is as you think about this concept called being an example of this thing called intentionalism, and you referenced earlier the impact your parents had made on you. Who are you trying to set an example for? And like, is there anybody in particular where you just go like, hey man, I'm going to live that out because I'm going to show them what I don't know how to say?
Yeah, my kids, my son, my daughter, definitely everything. You know, I try to do what I do, lead them by example. Hopefully someday as they grow up, get older, they can apply that towards everything, whether it's school, work, their own families once they get old enough. I mean, that's ultimately the goal, is to see them grow and hopefully, you know, do the same.
Yeah. Well, I think you're evidence that plan works, man. I think we started out this conversation talking about just your parents and just how you saw them just kind of put their flag in the ground and say, hey, at some point in time, we're going to be in a home. And that part of why you are how you are is because you saw them do that on a daily basis, right? And then, so I think you're evidence that system works. And the other thing I think is really, it's one of the things I'm most impressed with the Milestone, and one of the reasons I come back is you have this, it's similar to the military in the sense that you have this progression plan, and I have this kind of concept I call chase, pace, and pull. And chase is, hey, make sure you're chasing the right people to the right places, right? Because when you catch them and then you find out you're wrong, it's going to cost a lot, right? So chase the right people to the right places. The second is pace. Keep pace with people that you're a little bit afraid of. They're going to eat you alive if you don't put your words to work, right? And surround yourself with people that are going to get you to where you said you want to go on the days you don't want to go there. And then pull is pull someone behind you. Because if you don't, I believe that all great leaders want to get forgotten. Like they just want to create someone that eclipses them. And I think God is really merciful in that, because most of the time, it just makes you unforgettable when you do it that way, right? And like, there's a great basketball coach named John Wooden who was trying to get forgotten for 50 years, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would walk him out onto the basketball court every year, right? And I watched Roger Staubach try to get forgotten for years, but it's just not going to happen, right? The other reason you want to pull someone behind you is because if you don't, you're going to be doing this for longer than you want to or longer than you're good at it. And that's a disservice to this, whatever this is, right? Like, and so creating that protege and creating that person who's going to clip you, and that's something that I've always been impressed with since I've gotten to know Milestone and the family of companies that Milestone leads. And so it's pretty clear that you were giving people to chase in the ecosystem where you work, and it's pretty clear that you know that you're wearing the weight of someone that's being chaseable in your company right now, right?
Thank you.
That's awesome, man. Well, hey, I know you're busy. I always want to keep these really fast, but I treasure the opportunity to learn from the people I got to speak to. And I think I've said this for years. I say, I don't like talking at people. I like talking with people. But in those big speaking formats, I don't always get a chance to talk with people. And so Talk is an opportunity to me to learn from the people that had to listen to me. And so one, just, man, well done on being someone when I go, hey, who embodies this concept called intentionalism? Man, it didn't take a minute for them to say your name, and the list is long. I mean, there's a lot of people like that, but you're the first man that popped into people's heads. So congratulations on having that quality. Thank you for everything you do for me and my family on the semi-frequent pattern of what we seem to call you. and man, just thanks for the opportunity to let me learn a little bit more about how you've done what you've done and do what you're doing, because I'm still learning too. Like I'm never going to stop learning. So the opportunity to learn from you is great. So man, get about your day. Thanks for visiting with me. Congratulations on being someone that embodies this. Thanks for telling me the story about your parents and just that progression into a home. That's really powerful. Be encouraged by the fact that what your parents did for you, without question, you're doing for your own kids. And you're probably modeling what it's like to be a pro for some flat bellies that just joined the Milestone family in the first place, man. So thanks for giving me an opportunity to learn from you. Hold fast and stay true, and excited to keep learning from Milestone and from you.
Thank you, sir.
You got it, man.
All right.
Hopefully I won't talk to you soon. Like
right
at my house.
Right.
Like, this is great.
It's a good thing, but a bad thing, right?
Yeah, hopefully I was like, hey, good to see you again. It's over there. Right. So awesome, man. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Uh-huh.